It appears the environment I found myself in has changed drastically. How peculiar. You're not CIA agents, what the fuck? Darkest Dungeon is the Lovecraftian eldritch horror video game that even Bloodborne will be impressed with. Its dark atmosphere and complete lack of human decency creates a suffocating and tense environment that will cause cardiac arrest within 10 minutes of gameplay. You play as the descendant of the ancestor, tasked by the old boomer to reclaim your birthright and restore your family's old mansion that you really can't give more of a shit about. Go forth with your team of deranged, blighted yet blessed individuals to fight the abominations of Satan's creation back to the pit where they came from. Traverse the non-Euclidean, wide and vast corridors of your family's lands, opulent and imperial, to reach the anus in this realm of space that's shitting out all of these bastards. On this quest, you will fight literally just normal humans, rodents of considerable size, the blue lobster, skeletons of your friends and families, then finally, the most cursed of them all, Andrew Tate's brain-dead cultists. Pick up your sword, hoist your shield and don on your armor, for we shall delve headfirst into the darkest dungeon. You arrive on foot with your two most loyal and best boys, Dismas and Reynald. After your carriage broke in a brutal car crash involving a drunk driver and fighting through the woods against Miyazaki's crazed employees, you arrive at the hamlet. The hamlet is your only sure place of respite, and this place will be where you retreat to on this long journey. The hamlet have many amenities to rest and prepare your champions for the battles ahead, or to give them some time after their most recent expedition. The stagecoach is the highway of death, where fresh new meat and sacrifices arrive to help you in your righteous crusade against the Church of Scientology. The nomad wagon is just the wandering trader from Minecraft, selling you near useless items that have little to no effects, but do occasionally turn up with godly and desperately needed items. Next up are the Abbey and the Tavern, both being stress relief buildings. The former provides holy penance and forgiveness via praying, meditation, and self-imposed BDSM. The latter provides drinks, gambling, and hookers, all for $3.99 a week. The sanatorium is the hospital, and it can take away ill status effects to undesirable traits of your champions. The sanatorium provides excellent healthcare and provisions for free. Compare that to US healthcare. This makes Darkest Dungeon a slightly better world to live in. Then we have the Guild and the Blacksmith that will improve your champions' fighting power in expeditions through upgrading their equipment and training them to be more adept in their skills. Finally, we have the Survivor's Tent, where your champions will learn the basics of Boy Scout survival and learn skills that will be crucial in the later parts of your expeditions. Here, they will learn camp skills, used when you set up camp on long missions. We'll get to that later. That's all the hamlet has to offer, with the exception of the lore and the graveyard, where you can weep and cope hard for your fallen soldiers. Now it's time to talk about the gamers that have left their gaming setups to fight for your cause. There are, in total, with DLC, 17 classes of warriors to hire and sacrifice into the meat grinder. These 17 classes each have their own uses. They all each have different skills and stats that you can upgrade and alter with differing attacks. You can alter their stats by giving them trinkets that you can purchase from the Nomad Wagon, or fish them out from crusty hands of a mass of flesh. These trinkets have their pros and cons, so it is your job to consider whether it is worth it to equip your occultist with dog shit for 1 extra damage and decreased disease resistance. Satan really doesn't like you being in his front yard, said front yard being death gauntlets that will crush your balls and burn your cornea. Get out of my house! Welcome to the mansion. To get to the top, you must start at the bottom. First, you have the ruins, inhabited by cultists, necromancers, and the undead. The ruins contain many hidden treasures that you can uncover in your expedition, such as upgrade items to upgrade your hamlet. Second, there's the warrens, a maze of aqueducts and cellars inhabited by man-pigs and beasts. In this area of Satan's playground, you will find a lot of food that looks like it could be in a mukbang video. Third, we have the Weld, an area filled to the brim with all manners of diseases and are inhabited by the homeless of Los Angeles and sentient fungi that squirt spores at you. Fourth, we have the Cove. Waterlogged caverns inhabited by fishmen, creatures of the sea, and the undead. Like how all manners of creatures evolve into crabs, your heroes will contract traits and quirks that will change them. Finally, we have Satan's home itself. Within, only the most depraved and eldritch of horrors reside. The tunnels clogged by living bare flesh that's been transformed beyond recognition. The darkest dungeon is the final and ultimate test your heroes must go through in order to save this world from the army of Satan. This place is an eternal maze you must navigate, with long winding corridors and rooms that may contain treasures, curios, or the forces of evil. You know, all this talk with the Hamlet and the Devil's Home hell is making me feel kind of unsafe. You know what will help? If you hit that like and subscribe button. In Darkest Dungeon, you will die, and that is an understatement. In this hell, you will die. Let's talk about how to mitigate terminal death in this game then. In Darkest Dungeon, you will go on expeditions into Satan's front yard and its various areas. But before you can embark, you must choose who will embark and with what provisions. The most important piece of kit you must take, however, are torches. Light will determine how fucked you are. With Radiant Light, you will have a higher chance of surprising monsters and higher chance of scouting. Yet in the Grim Dark, your party will have a higher chance of being surprised, yet it also gives more loot. Managing light is crucial in the game. Then we're getting into positioning. Positioning in this turn-based RPG dungeon crawler is essential as well. Each attack and skill your heroes have will have a place in which they can and cannot use. Your melee users will fare better at the forefront of the formation, while your range heroes will be more beneficial at the back. Positioning of your heroes isn't permanent and can be altered in expeditions, either from being surprised, moved by enemy attacks, or you changing up the formation yourself. Then there are also corpses in this game. Tying into positioning, corpses take up space on the field and will hinder your party's fighting capabilities. These corpses suggest that an hindrance that should be rid of so you can finally return punching Satan's alive servants in the face. Positioning affects your enemies as well, with you being capable of pulling and pushing enemies out of formation and make them unable to use certain attacks and skills. Your heroes have two primary gauges, the health bar and the sanity bar. The health bar is simple. It determines how many hits your hero can take before entering Death's Door. Death's Door is a blessing and a curse. It's a mechanic of certain death, where your hero has a chance of taking the next hit while also dying in the next hit. Then we have sanity. As you traverse Satan's House of Fun, your heroes will gain stress, and stress increases your sanity meter. You have a limit of 200 sanity. When you reach 100, your hero will roll a dice to gain an affliction or a virtue. An affliction is where your character gets one kind of mental illness from being abusive to being irrational. When your sanity meter reach its maximum being 200, your hero will straight up suffer a heart attack and enter Death's Door. You will gain stress from pretty much anything, walking down a dark hallway to getting hit by a critical hit. Expeditions can be short or take days. This is where camping comes into play. You can camp in any room and you may finally use your hero's camping skills to reduce the sanity meter, give each other buffs, increase their health by eating, and increase the chance of scouting. But even here, you're not safe as midnight ambushes could happen and catch your warriors off guard. Once a hero dies, they are permanently out of the game. You will see a lot of dead heroes, and I mean a lot. But every day you live, that's a day of fighting back against hell. Lick your wounds and get back up again. Hell won't stay still, and we need to give Satan a second taste of heaven's wrath. Darkest Dungeon, for all of its horror, is oddly beautiful. The art is superb, that's the first time I've ever said that word, and the animations, while simple, fits greatly while not needing to do anything extravagant. With how slow and methodical you need to take the game, the developers realized that they need to have good backgrounds and character art so you don't want to tear your eyes out after hours of gaming. To complement this beautiful art is an excellent soundtrack. It's just an excellent piece of addition, and each battle you can jam out before you inevitably hate yourself. Look, I turned off the music to record all of this footage, and throughout that entire process I was just miserable. I will get to the sequel later. Later being when I have the money. It's a 9 out of 10 game. Do I recommend it though? Try it if you want an extremely tough challenge and into self-harm. Because this game will either break you or make you yearn for more. In my case, it broke me.